The time being 7 o'clock, I'll entertain a motion to open the ZBA hearing of a meeting of 17 July 2014.
Make a motion to open?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is open. For all those in the audience, the meeting is being televised and recorded. Is there anyone in the audience recording? Seeing none, I will entertain motions for reorganization. I'll take a motion for chair.
I'll make a motion to nominate Robert Tedrow as chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, turn the meeting over to you, Mr. Tatro, for nominations for vice chair.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to have a nomination for vice chair. Do we have any interested parties?
Dennis Natoli.
Mr. Natoli is ineligible as an alternate.
Alternates are not eligible?
I'm sorry?
Alternates are not eligible?
I don't believe to be vice chair, because in the absence of the chair, I believe you'd want somebody who, I think it's the 5 members who are eligible for office or positions.
Well, in absence of the chair, the alternate has to step in.
This is true, but again, I still think that it's the five members who would be eligible for those positions.
You have that knowledge from
That's,
somewhere?
I mean, I don't have it in specific. If you'd like to hold off on that, we can find the answer to that. I'd hate to have the nomination be made and voted and have to go back and redo it. So we can ferret that out and have it for your next meeting. It's not going to affect the course of this meeting.
I'd like to make a nomination for vice chair for Larry Chicolo.
I don't.
Well, I think that you'd
You
have
can't
to,
have 2 nominations.
you can't have 2 nominations
be
on the
present.
floor. I'm sorry?
He'd have to be present.
No, there's already a nomination on the floor. There's a motion, it wasn't seconded. And I think if there's a question, it's probably better to hold off and get the answer rather than sort of go back and forth on whether to withdraw it or have a second motion. So we'll get that answer for you for your next meeting. Mr. Chair, if I may, before you begin your meeting, I want to introduce Chris Lund. He's the interim building inspector. I know you guys are aware that Nick has moved along, so Chris will be attending your meetings in the interim while we complete our search for a full-time inspector. He's here full-time, so if you do have questions during the normal course of business, feel free to contact Chris.
Great, Chris, welcome.
Good evening.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, if that motion.
That's you?
Yes. So we're going to take a motion to make the vice chair situation for the next meeting. We'd like to study whether or not we can actually have an alternate as a member, since we actually only have 4 sitting full-time members as it is now and 2 alternates, so we're going to have to wait and figure that out. I think that would be appropriate. So we have a 7 o'clock this evening. The applicants are Eric Colon and Thuy Fan, requesting a special permit under Section 3221 for a 2-family detached dwelling of the Auburn zoning bylaws on property located at 10 to 12 Elm Street, Auburn, Mass. Map 57, parcel 15. Are the applicants here? Could you approach the microphone, please, and introduce yourself?
Point of order, you have to appoint one of us to sit in on this one as a voting member.
Oh, okay, you're right. Thank you very much, Mr. Natoli.
No problem.
I'd like to make a motion that we have Mr. Natoli sit as this a full-time voting member, rather than an alternate.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you would like to do with the property and the application, please?
Okay, I'm Thuy Fan. We would like to take down our existing 2-car garage and attach it to our existing house and put an in-law suite above the 2-car garage. It's gonna have 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, kitchen, living room,
Okay.
and laundry room downstairs behind the garage. That's it.
Okay. I'd like to open up the discussion. Any members have any comments?
Question just on square footage of the lot? Anything on there?
I believe the site plan says it's 35,000 square feet. It's lot 15 on the map that's included in your packet. You can almost make out where it was attempted
Yeah.
to be outlined.
Yeah. Through the chair, I'm assuming that egress and all that will be taken care of through our building inspector.
If they're going to raise and rebuild, it would have to meet all code.
Okay.
If I may, through the chair. About parking,
Okay,
ask that, if you're renting the unit or someone's gonna be living in the unit and there's gonna be 3 bedrooms, is there sufficient parking in the driveway so no one would be parking on the street?
yep, because right now we have like 4 spaces in the driveway already.
Okay.
So, and it's gonna be for my parents and my sister. So it's gonna be 4 cars.
Okay.
Through the chair, if I may, so and I did do a drive-through by the property
Okay.
earlier today. And so the existing garage, and then looks like an overhang with a kind of a shed porch area, that will be completely, your plan is to take that down completely?
Yes.
And then in its place, affix to the existing,
Yes,
and then build out the new plans?
yes.
Okay, so that'll be completely, okay.
Yes,
So that'll take the place of it?
Yeah, we have it, the 2-car garage with the port in the shed. We're gonna remove all that and just putting this and attaching it to the house.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Natoli?
No, just ask for butters.
I was gonna
Yeah.
see if Mr. Cussy had any comments, or... No? Okay. Are there any abutters present? Would you like to step up to the microphone, please, sir, and introduce yourself?
I'm Stan Borko from Stone Street,
Okay.
and I just had a couple of questions about it. The first question was, I looked at the plan, and I couldn't see whether the new garage, which is attached to the house, goes back further than the existing garage. If it was exactly the same depth back as the existing garage, or whether it goes back a little further.
Okay.
And then the second question I had is, if there's lighting that's added to the back of the new garage, if it could be directed downward as opposed to like a flood, because, you know, then I would see more of it on my property. So those are my only 2 questions.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, through the chair, what address on Stone Street so we can have it for the record,
10.
sir? 10,
10.
thank you.
It's first row. First row, second.
Could you step back up to the microphone, please, ma'am? So it does appear it's going to step back quite a bit.
Yes.
And do you have the exact measurements? It appears here, it says,
I think it's going back 8 feet from our existing front, and then I think the length is gonna be 45 feet.
45 feet in full.
Yes.
So it does appear as though it steps back from the existing structure. And would it be a problem to honor the request of making
No
sure that the
problem at
lighting
all.
is not, so I guess, lack of better description, offensive to the neighbors, if you will?
Yep, it won't be a problem. We can just direct it down. Not a big deal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, sir? Okay. Questions?
I have a question. Through the chair. If there comes a time when your sister and your parents are not living there, do you plan on renting it out for profit to somebody, or?
We haven't really decided that, to be honest with you. My sister is still fairly young, so we're probably gonna stay there for a while. Because we just had a baby and we kind of want to stay in Auburn, so we're gonna be there for a little bit.
Good
So
choice.
If my parents are no longer here, then my sister will stay with us. And she'll just stay in the property.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Natoli?
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
I'm assuming, I just didn't see, we don't have a site plan, so we don't dimension, I'm sure, setbacks and things like that on the new construction
Right.
will be to
It
code.
does, yeah, it doesn't appear, but that would be required as part of the permit package.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
No conditions?
Do we have any conditions you'd like to attach?
Conditions, I would just make sure there wasn't any encroachments to the neighbors, but that's going to be taken care
Yeah,
of by
I mean,
site,
that's-
yeah, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, make a motion to close.
Motion to close?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Okay, next is at 7:15, we have a few minutes to wait in between. Do we have any minutes from the last meeting left to approve while we're waiting? Not yet?
I don't think anybody put minutes together.
Vacation, right?
There was nobody here to write the minutes.
I thought we had minutes taken last meeting.
They're gonna have to wait.
I thought someone was gonna watch the tape and do them, right?
Okay, so we'll wait for those for the next one as well.
Here.
Okay.
We do have a few signatures for you folks if you want to go ahead and sign. I guess I'm
Pass it around.
confused by the signature page since there's 7 names on it and only 5 of you can sign.
Only 5 signed, so.
Yeah. Do you guys know who voted on what? Because unfortunately, it wasn't recorded on the decisions.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's 11 Byland.
That's what.
11 Violent. Well, here, it should,
If it helps, these are all from the last meeting.
Nope.
I believe that was a 2-family.
so it was Ed. So Ed will have to come and sign
Ed
this.
has signed
He
them.
has, so we got myself, Richard, Larry, who's absent, and Robert
Yeah.
on this one.
So that's, okay. So, I don't, we have that?
Yeah. Probably have time for one more. That's 440 Washington.
You sign on that one.
That's me. Sure. That one. can go
Here you go, a lot of passing.
Good thing I was here.
Thank you. That's 4, that's all we need.
Going to?
Oh, no, there's more, but,
that's
it-
what I'm
I mean,
saying.
we're on to the 7:15 at this point almost, so.
Two in between.
So we can probably squeeze one more in.
So about 2 minutes left.
492 Washington.
I think you did this one. Was the one I just signed. This one. Oh, yeah, I think. Not me, right? Sheila,
Yeah.
this is Jidal.
We have a copy.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
just pass that down.
And that's 7 Pinedale.
That was the nail salon, right?
Yeah.
I think I did that right.
7:15. We have a 7:15 applicant, Polar Beverages, Brian Lafort, requesting a special permit under section 744, prohibited signs, and 761, permitted signs in business industrial districts of the Auburn zoning bylaws to allow the construction of a sign that exceeds the maximum area, maximum height to be located partially above the roof line of the existing warehouse facility on property located at 26 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., map 6, parcel 170. Do I have a motion to open a hearing?
Motion to open here?
Seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If you could introduce yourself, please, sir, and give us a little brief of what you'd like to do.
Good evening. My name is Norman Hill. I'm a civil engineer with a consulting firm of land planning. I live in Grafton. With me tonight is Brian Lafort. He's head of the facilities for Polar Corp. And the reason for our application tonight is they would like to put up a new sign on the wall, the exterior back wall of their warehouse. They currently rent a warehouse at 28 Southbridge Street. So you'll know where this is if you were to go all the way out Southbridge Street, almost to Worcester. On your left, there's a railroad crossing. On your left, just before you get to the Worcester line. If you were to pull in there, they're the first building on the right. That's their warehouse. And they would like to put this sign on the back of that warehouse. Now, Polar Beverage has been in business since 1882, and they employ over 600 people at this facility, over 1,400 nationwide. This sign is very important to them. I would give them some exposure on 290, which has very high traffic counts. So it's very important to them that you would grant them permission to put this sign up. The reason for the special permit is we're asking you to grant two waivers. One waiver is to allow the sign to be higher than the top of the building. Your regulations right now don't allow a sign to extend beyond the roof of the building. And they have two parts of this sign that they would like to extend beyond the roof. One would be the Polar bottle. The top third of the bottle would extend above the roof. And the other would be the Polar bear. I have a better picture of that I'll show you, but that is their trademark, and they would love people to be able to see, okay, that's where Polar Beverage is. And the second waiver is in regard to the size of the sign. Your regulations ask that the sign not be more than 15 feet tall, and I believe cover not more than 20% of the building and not be more than 250 square feet. The majority of the sign is 20 feet high. All of that blue area is 20 feet high, and it's mounted on the wall. But these particular things, the bottle sticks up another 22 feet, and the beer sticks up another 18 feet. And there are some bubbles that are sticking up here. That's going to be part of their new slogan, making bubbles since 1882. So the bubbles will stick up on individual poles. So it's taller than the 15 feet, and it's much, much bigger than the 250 that's required. But the size of the sign is important because of the viewers. This sign won't be seen, it can't be seen by people traveling on Southbridge Street. They're trying to have people on Route 290 see the sign. And as you all know, when you're traveling on a freeway, you need large signs that you can pick up because you go by them so quickly. You have to have a large sign or you miss it. I have some colored pictures I would like to show to you so you can better appreciate what is being proposed and what it would look like and how it's positioned in the neighborhood. I'll start with first a close-up view of the sign. If you were heading towards Worcester, this is the view you would have into the shop.
Is there enough? That's it.
If
We'll
you're
share.
missing another one here, there was two
Oh,
here.
there's one here.
Thank you.
Now, 290 is slightly elevated as you go through here. 290 is slightly elevated. So pull this down a little bit. But as you're heading toward Webster, this is what you would see. Here's the Here's the part of 290 that's heading towards Worcester. Now, regarding the neighborhood, this second drawing gives you a good feel as to what's going on here. There's a neighborhood here with residential homes. There's about 3 blocks of homes in this area, and then the Polar Factory is right up there, the bottling plant. But these people will not be able to see the sign. I really don't believe it's going to have any impact on these neighbors living here. Everything south of the warehouse, this is the warehouse, the Polar warehouse here. Everything south of the warehouse is all commercial. And there is a hill that comes up, and there are several rows of trees. So they will see this building, they can see this building in the winter, somewhat restricted in the summer because of the trees, but they won't be able to read the sign either because they can't, they're over here, and so they can't see the sign. So the people on 290 hopefully will see it, and then there's a pond, and then there's a cemetery. There's a large cemetery on the other side of 290. So I don't believe there's a single residence that will be able to see this house at any time. And then this is just a blow-up of the site plan that we have presented with our package. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you. I'd like to open up the discussion for the members, please. Mr. Natoli?
Through the chair, I just want to verify, so the square footage of the sign is actually 7,540 square feet?
Yes, sir. Yep. That includes all the bubbles, the beer, the bottle, everything. Yeah.
That answers that question, so...
I'm sorry?
No, I just wanted to verify that that was the size.
And based on our bylaws, this is a substantial increase in size over what we normally would allow, even for a waiver.
I totally understand that, but keep in mind that we're traveling on a freeway, we're several hundred feet away, and if we were to bring it down to, say, a couple of thousand square feet, no one would see that or be able to read it, even at a couple of thousand square feet. So it's been designed to be able to be readable and recognizable from that freeway, which is, you know, a couple of hundred feet away, and plus these trees that you see in this rendering will stay. A lot of these trees are on the right-of-way. They're not on the Polar property.
That was one of my questions, actually. These are all, I think, basically state-owned trees, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep, so they cannot come down by Polar.
Mr.
Does
Natoli?
Polar still have the signs on 290 at their original space just down the street?
At the bottling plant, they do have a sign there, yes.
The bear and all that, they still put that up?
Yes, sir.
I mean, to me, the sign looks good. It suits the building,
Agree.
the way it sets back and the trees in front of it. I know it's gigantic compared to what we would ever allow, you know, but looking at it, I don't hate it.
I feel the
I
same.
mean, I think it suits the building.
I think there are some interesting facts involved with this, one being that no neighbor can see it.
Right.
Two, that it's serving, you know, a freeway. And three, that there's a cemetery on the other side of the freeway.
Yeah.
Those are pretty specific facts in this case.
Through the chair, if I may, or Mr. Natoli.
No, go ahead.
Mr. Hill, so recognizing the way our bylaws currently read and the fact that this is a substantial increase, just based on size, regarding some of the other comments made about aesthetics, and I would agree, it's a really nice sign, and I appreciate that it fits into your new logo. But from my perspective, you had mentioned that this was really important, the signage, and from a branding or marketing perspective, this was really important to Polar. And we certainly appreciate the number of years that Polar's operated in Auburn. And so could you just share a few thoughts on why it's so important to brand such a large sign and why the exposure on 290 is so important? And the reason why I ask that is because it is, from my perspective, and I don't want to put thoughts in your mind, but for the immediate thoughts for me are that this isn't a facility, this is a facility that manufactures, right? So You're not selling out of this facility. Customers aren't going to this facility. It's a distribution facility, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so under the guise of that, and I'll stop there because I don't want to lead, but just why is it so important that such a large marketing sign be placed there?
Okay, would you like to say a few words, Brian?
Good evening, Brian Lafort with Polar Corp. We are a very small company in the beverage industry, and people often want to make comparisons between Polar Beverages and Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, and there really is not much of a comparison. They are on every continent. We're based in Worcester, Massachusetts, trying to expand over the line into Auburn, and every set of eyes that sees that sign is a potential new customer for us. And that's why, you know, with television advertising, radio advertising, print advertising, we can't compete with those giants. That's why everything we can do to make ourselves recognizable is so important to us, because, believe me, it's not easy competing with the big guys. And so these are the kinds of things we do to make sure that we stay in business and we continue to be in Auburn and continue to employ about 100 Auburn residents. And it's very important to our sales and marketing department.
Thank you very much.
And me personally. I need my job.
Thank you for your comments.
The chair.
Mr. Natoli?
Is there going to be any lighting on this sign?
Yes, there will be lighting. On the plan, it references cutoffs, lights with cutoffs. So the lights will be mounted on the building, and they'll be out in front of the sign. They'll shine down towards the building, and they'll have cutoffs, so there will be no glare leaving the property, no spillage of the light off the property, just back towards the sign.
Are you looking to have that sign illuminated all night long, or is it going to shut off when the hours of the business stop?
Well, they operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so they were hoping to keep it lit all the time.
So from what I can gather, the sign itself will not have any blinking lights, no moving lights. It will be illuminated with lighting, so you can see it, but it's not going to have any type of neon. There's no going to be no flashing lights, no message centers, no other requests for those types of things.
That's correct, and I was kind of joking with Brian today. I said, the bear's not going to wave at me. He said, no, it's not going to blink at me. He said, no flashing lights, this is not a digital sign whatsoever. It's just a stationary board, and, yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Through the chair, I have a question, but it may be because I'm naive to some degree, and it's my first meeting, so this may not be the appropriate time. But what I want to ask, and I'll just say it, is that recognizing we don't want to compare and contrast other applicants or previous, but given the enormity of the size of this sign, are there any relative comparisons to approvals on this scale that we might discuss that we've granted in the past?
I could probably answer this.
Mr. Natoli?
I've done hundreds of these. We've had other, as you know, along the same route, there are buildings with rear-facing to 290. I believe that the largest we've ever granted was a little over 200 square feet. That's to any of the buildings you have that are along Route 12. In that perspective, never seen anything this large. And just to put it, if I may, in a perspective, the largest sign in Massachusetts is the Citgo sign in Boston. It's 3,600 square feet. So this is literally double that size. So, I mean, you can see a picture, but I don't know if you can imagine our biggest sign in Auburn is maybe 200 some odd square feet.
Through the chair, my guess would be it would be the Auburn Mall sign onto the Turnpike.
Yeah,
And
it's not even-
that may be 350 or so, but it's not, I mean, we're talking in the hundreds.
Yeah, we're talking nowhere in the thousands.
And, the special permit is discretionary, it's up to the board, it's based on circumstances. So it's one of those things where as a five-member board, you have to look at the merits of it and make your decision based on each instance. So, yes, previous decisions can be looked at. They aren't always just the only bellwether.
And through the chair, I didn't want to suggest that we would make any comparisons. I think that the space and the size, and the gentlemen have spoken, that it really, it's because of the space they're working with, it's because of the building that they're working with, and then you would fit that kind of layout to what you're working with. So I didn't want to make any inappropriate comparisons to what might have been done previously, but just the size of it, from a precedence perspective. I wanted to see what the board thought about that.
So we used to have a bylaw until recently we changed it. It was only 40 square feet at one point. So, through the, with Adam, we worked together and we came up with some pretty large, improvements. So it used to be real small. And if it was a secondary sign, it was even smaller, so.
Are there any abutters?
Are there any abutters present? Hearing none, seeing none?
Want to put that out there?
Are there any further comments?
Yeah, I mean, my feeling, the sign is huge. I think it suits the building well. The setbacks, the trees, and the fact that no one's going to see it from their homes or businesses. So,
Okay.
looks pretty good to me.
If there are no other further comments?
And before we close this portion of the hearing, if I may, through the chair, Mr. LaForte, you had stood, so I didn't know if you had an additional comment that you wanted to make.
I just wanted to comment that it's a very attractive-looking sign. This is not going to be an eyesore. And as Norman Hill pointed out, there are no flashing lights, no message boards. This is almost going to appear as more of a mural on the side of our building than a sign. So I understand it's hard, excuse me, it's hard to see that from the drawings and the renderings, but that's the intent. It's going to be a sign that hopefully makes a lot of people smile and notice us.
And one final question through the chair. Have we ever advised on the use of the commercial signage billboards that run on 290 as opposed to approval of something more specific like this at a property or a business?
Billboards are prohibited in
Unless
town.
your
That's
grandfather did.
probably the reason it's attached to a building, so.
Through the chair, so Mr. Natoli, I appreciate that, and I understand that. We wouldn't have them, I wasn't making the suggestion that we would construct one in Auburn and allow that in Auburn, but I'm thinking of the ones that are existing on the Worcester line that may accomplish the same goal with the same size. And whether or not that would be an appropriate accommodation to request, that they look into that before constructing such a large sign.
It's a thought.
Any other members care to discuss that?
Just, for this building and this setting,
Okay.
I like the sign.
Just one additional question through the chair. Back to the lighting for 1 second. The neighborhood that you mentioned, think you said there's about 3 blocks in the back. You don't think lighting at 2 in the morning would affect anybody neighboring? That's my only issue with the lighting as a 24/7 thing.
When we use that phrase, cut-off lights, picture a light bulb behind this piece of paper. The light is cut off, it can't come towards you, it can only go like that. See what I'm saying?
Towards the
So
sign.
these have a box around all 4 sides, so that all
Okay.
4 sides are cut off, so that light just goes down at the sign.
Okay.
Yeah, so they won't see they won't even see it.
I think any lighting in that general area of the highway will only help for motorists.
True.
I just, what are the options really for signs on this that would look
Right.
decent?
I think it looks beautiful.
Look at this building.
Makes me want to drink some seltzer.
And advertising is very important.
So are we, like to make a motion that we close the discussion and Do we have a motion on the floor?
Motion to close?
Second the motion to close.
And do we have a motion,
All in favor?
all in favor, excuse me?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have a motion regarding the sign issue?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the sign under 7.4.4 and 7.6.1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm opposed. I just can't vote for a 7,000 square foot sign with the bylaw, with the town meeting voting what they want for 250, raising that. I just can't in conscience vote for a 7,000.
And I think I'm going to have to agree with Mr. Natoli and deny. So we have a 3-2?
Yep.
Does not go.
It does not approved.
Right, we need, yeah.
Motion to close?
Motion to close the hearing?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
We're running a few minutes behind due to the last session, but we now have a 7:30 applicant, Jared Broder, requesting a variance under section 3250, retail business of the Auburn zoning bylaws on property located at 440 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. Map 50, parcel 24. Is Mr. Broder present?
I am, yes.
And I'm going to recuse myself as an abutter, so
Thank you, Mr. Natoli. Okay.
Trial by fire, Karen.
Just got my paperwork on this here.
So,
All right, could you describe what you'd like to do, please, sir?
What I'm looking to do is lease a property from Mr. Wade to start a second store. I already have a location open in Manchester, Connecticut.
Okay.
This would
Could
be a
you
second
just
location.
adjust the microphone a little bit so the
Absolutely.
folks at home could hear you?
Sorry about that.
Chair, may I ask if he states his name for the record?
Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, my
also,
name is
please?
Jared Broder. I'm the owner of the Battle Standard Tabletop Game and Hobby in Manchester, Connecticut. I'm looking to bring my business to Massachusetts. Mr. Wade here has a property that I'm interested in. My understanding is that it needs zoning approval in order to bring my business to that particular building.
And can you describe the business for us, please, sir?
The business is a game and hobby store. We sell board games and particular card games, as well as miniature wargaming, which is it's difficult to explain, but it's like playing chess
Okay.
without the grid work.
Okay.
You have your own unique chess pieces, and they move individually of each other, and each piece has its own rules and what have you. It's a sense of a board game without a board, if you will.
Okay. And you'd be selling these products at a storefront type of thing, or is this where people would come in and actually play on site, or how does this work?
Well, it's both. So we have a series of demo tables that they could use to play on.
Okay.
Those demo tables would have terrain on them, very similar to model railroad terrain, small trees and buildings and such.
Okay.
They can come in and play on those tables. There's no charge for that. But we do sell the product, and that's what, that's the drive, is to bring them in to try the games and then allow them to buy it there. Of course, the board games and the card games, they would have tables they could play at as well. But it's not the drive of the business. It's a side thing.
Okay.
So.
Are there any abutters present by any chance? Hearing none, seeing none. Any comments from the members?
Through the chair, if I may. Mr. Broder?
Yes.
You had indicated that folks would come and they would essentially play chess there.
Correct, not chess, but the
I
game.
apologize, I don't want to mischaracterize it, but
Sure,
they would- your activity, and maybe because I'm not used to it, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, no
Because I don't want
problem.
to mischaracterize it.
Sure.
And so, but they would be at that location. And so I visited the location, and I appreciate the landlord, Mr. Wade, is here. So how many, just the volume, the flow and the volume that you would expect in that location, and parking and access? I did visit the site.
So, yeah, so the parking is very similar to what I already have in Manchester, Connecticut. You have that front row parking there, which is for, immediate traffic, people that want to come in, buy their product and leave. And then there's also reserve parking in the back. What we've done at the other facility is simply ask people that are going to stay longer, maybe play a game for an hour, that they park on the back side of the building. The customers tend to be very loyal. It's a very hobby community kind of thing. So the regulars know that that's the case, and they don't seem to have a problem doing
Okay,
so.
thanks for addressing that. I-
Sure, absolutely.
Not intending that, Mr. Wade, as a concern for parking. And I think I was just focusing on if there would be parking in the back versus that strow of parking in the front for access of folks coming and going more frequently.
Understood.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so one of the things I have a question about is, when I think of retail sales of hobby supplies, I also think of like models, model airplanes, gas-powered engines, types of things like that. Are there any of those types of things that are possible now or in the future?
Well, it's funny that you say models. So the models are not in the way that you're thinking. The game pieces are actually models. They're usually either the small pewter figures that
Okay,
you see. They're not made of pewter anymore, of course. They're made out of a zinc material, or plastic, injection molded plastic. They come in separate kits, and that's simply so you can customize the piece yourself. You break it out of the box, you build it the way you want, and then that becomes your chess piece, your king or your queen or your knight, or what have you. And then you play the game with those. There is no gas engines or anything like that.
right, I just didn't know if, if you expand in the future that you'd be selling the, planes or helicopters that the kids are flying around these days, and,
Right, yeah, no, so our business specifically is actually subtitled Tabletop Game and Hobby.
Okay.
So we stick to that tabletop thing. As a matter of fact, our business model is to stay away from that kind of stuff. We don't want to sell Beanie Babies, we don't want to sell, paddles with balls on them and stuff, We're not into that. We want to sell strictly tabletop gaming. If we were to expand any further, the only thing I could see us expanding into might be a full array of role-playing games supplies, which is pen and paper, Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing,
okay.
so.
Any other questions from the board?
Just a question to the chair, I just don't know, what was there before? What was in that area before, anything?
Nothing. It was-
there?
it was a vacant lot.
Vacant, okay.
Well, what originally was there was Flag Farm burial wall. That's
Yeah.
what originally
Yes.
was at the site.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wade.
What was
Could
it?
you speak into the microphone? I didn't hear that.
It's a new building that's going up. The original site had Flag Palmer Burial Vault, which they made burial vaults there. They had a tower that was probably about 60 to 80 feet high, which they used to dump the cement in and stuff like that, so yes. So right now, it was a vacant lot. Now I've put up a new, building.
Okay,
And
thank you.
trying to have less impact on the town because I'm in an Aquifer 2 zone. So trying to create a lot less impact in hazardous, with the site that I have. And that's why I've been leaning more towards retail. But I have to have the zoning board, approve it because I am in a GI district.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? No?
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have to close the hearing first.
Motion to
Make a
close
motion
the
to close the
discussion.
hearing. Motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing.
Thank you.
Second?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so do we have a motion on the floor?
A motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, I agree. I approve.
Okay, I also approve. Congratulations. Good luck with your business.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Like to make a motion to close the hearing for that one? Altogether? or just at that? a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So our next is... Mike, where's it? Right on time. Okay, so the next is at 7:45, applicant Brianna Brusa, requesting a special permit under section 3912, accessory use home occupation of the Auburn zoning bylaws on property located at 256 Millbury Street, Auburn, Mass. Map 43, parcel 40. Is Ms. Brusa available?
Hi,
Could you introduce yourself, please, and tell us a
I'm-
little bit about your business?
I'm Brianna Brusa, and I want to be making cakes for my home, and I wouldn't be putting up any signs in the yard, and I would just be making the cakes and I would deliver them. I wouldn't have anybody come to my house.
Okay. Do we have any neighbors present, any abutters?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Okay, do we have any questions or comments from the board members?
Are you going to employ anyone?
What?
You going to have any employees?
No, no employees.
And how old are you, may I ask?
18.
Okay.
I have a question, if you,
Mhm.
so it's all going to be internet sales? Nobody's going to be coming to the house to taste the cakes, or?
No, if I want them to taste the cakes or meet with people, I will go to either their home or like go to a coffee shop or something.
Nice. I think you should bring some to the board. Very good.
Through the chair, if I may, and Ms. Brusa, thanks for coming before us tonight. Is this your first business in this area?
Yes.
This is the first time that you've done this?
Mhm.
Okay. Is that correct? So, yeah, are there any, and through the chair, are there any, because it's a food product, and it's a permitted business, are there any requirements from health to inspect and set that up through a special permit?
Yeah, it
Yes.
says in the letter that she has met with the Board of, you've met with the Board of Health, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and I know what I need to do to like get that done. And I'm also gonna be making an appointment for the to be food safety certified and the food allergy certified too.
Thank you.
So will you be installing a commercial kitchen equipment in your home?
No, we don't need to.
Okay.
You're just going to be using the oven that's currently
Yes.
on
Yeah.
the property?
Yep.
Mr. Natoli?
Is this a startup business, or are you been in business? Is this something you've done before, or are you just starting in the business?
Like I'm just starting it.
Okay.
And through the chair, just one final question. Do you, and this was partially addressed earlier, but do you have any plans for advertising? How will you get your name and your recognition, and how will you find your customers?
Well, I mean, through like Facebook and stuff to,
Okay, so other media, but
Page
as you
and-
indicated
yeah.
earlier, no signage?
no signs around the
press
house or
release.
anything.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Natoli?
Just one more, ingredients and things, you pick that up yourself, or are you expecting deliveries? Do you get like UPS deliveries you're expecting per day, or anything like that, or?
Nope, I would be delivering, like,
No, your materials.
oh,
and-
to me?
yeah.
No.
You'd be shopping yourself?
Yeah,
And
yes,
there's like kitchen place in Worcester where she just goes and picks up what she needs.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Any butters?
I asked, there was no abutters present.
Great.
I missed it, was there a motion to open the hearing?
Yes, we made a motion to open the hearing.
If you're looking for a motion and a,
I'd like to close the comments. Do I have a motion to close the comments?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor?
motion to grant? I think with conditions that if, unless you want a second and then talk about any conditions or anything like that?
You can make the conditions part of your motion.
No signage. I think that would be the biggest thing, other than that.
And follow all the Board of Health rules?
Through the chair, they are allowed a 4-square-foot sign in
Okay.
the residential zone by right,
Right.
by the bylaw, so.
Sure, I mean, that, as long as it meets the bylaw, it's fine.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second. I'd also just like to make another condition that just if you, hopefully you become wildly successful and you grow the business, but that you stick to not having people come to pick up.
Right.
You continue to deliver,
Yes.
and tastings, things like that. would happen somewhere other than the property.
Yes, okay.
Good then.
Mr. Chairman, is there an opportunity to have discussion on the motion?
Sure.
It's still open. We have-
That's what we're doing, yeah.
Okay, very good. So, and because I think you raised an excellent point. From an expansion perspective, would there be a necessity for them to come back and amend their permit if there was an expansion and a change of the business? Based
That would
on
be
any-
required. If they decided to build out, they would have to come either before us or the other boards to get permits.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think the only thing that would be employees, if with this as a home occupation, there would be no.
As a home occupation, the bylaw prohibits the employ of anybody who doesn't live at the address of the business. So if she chose to have relatives who were in the home be employed through the business, that would be okay. If she were looking to expand to additional employees, it would probably be to her benefit to start looking for a commercial space where she can grow. I mean, if she's looking for that many employees, a commercial space is probably going to be more suited to the business that she's operating.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you.
Things go well for you.
Congratulations. We're already planning your success and expansion.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, do you have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Before you do, are you going to be
Sorry.
writing make sure you're writing the decisions, and is anyone going to do minutes for this, so, before we close the
I can
meeting?
certainly write the decisions.
We'll have the minutes done.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any plans for
We're in the process.
We are getting someone?
We're in the process of looking at it.
Okay.
Okay,
If
make a
not,
motion
Chris
to
will be writing a
close this
lot.
particular part of the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close that.
Do I have a second?
Hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This portion of the meeting is closed. We have a motion to close the meeting itself.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
You do
sir.
have 2 sets of minutes?
Yeah, we have to.
Oh, we do have minutes now.
Oh, we did get minutes?
Well,
It looks like it's.
I'm looking at your agenda. If they weren't in your packet, I apologize.
No one did
Okay.
minutes.
They were not in the packet.
Then we will get them for your next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So for the next meeting, we'll worry about the minutes. Do we have any other business? Any new business? While I'm on the agenda here?
No, other than welcoming the new members, just
Yes, absolutely. Welcome aboard.
Thank you all.
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I look forward to working with you.
how do you like it so far?
I like it. It's, from what I've observed, it's pretty much what I expect.
Yeah. I think for those, they give courses, well, Holy Cross, I think they only give them twice a year. And then just so everyone is updated on the next one,
It's,
probably April.
no, November.
There you go, I'll give you one
It's
November.
October, November, and then like March, April.
They're great.
They're,
Yeah, it was great.
they're generally a full Saturday, 8 to 4-ish, and you usually get between 4 and 6 classes, depending on what you do. The same group, the Citizen Planner Training Collaborative, they do offer night classes throughout the year at varying locations throughout the state. Some are at Union Station in Worcester. The town will pay for members of the boards to go. There is a small education line item in your budget, so
That's
if it's CPTC, if you search it, you can find it online. It's run through UMass. If you see a class you want to take, call the office. We'll help you get registered. We'll cover the cost. And
Yeah, I forget what our budget was. It was, I think it was $450 or something, but it's
think it
been really
might
good
be-
about getting extra money.
yeah,
so.
it might be 900 or so now. So, if we happen to move through that budget and there's still classes that people want to educate themselves, contact me. I'll find a way to get you guys.
There was certainly, thank you for bringing that up and having the discussion.
great, yeah.
It's definitely something that I want to take up. I'd like to take the one in November at
Yeah.
Holy Cross.
Yeah.
It's close proximity.
I too,
But I
yeah.
absolutely plan to get involved in that. And before we close, being the newest member, I wanted to just make a request. I certainly don't want to change any flow that's been done before, but recognizing protocol and different things, when we vote, it would just help, and I don't want to make any requests that's off your process, but when we vote, just from a recognized yay and nay, it would help me to know that we're just doing that visible sign, so that I know where we are in the line.
We can do that.
Because, and it's just a request from a protocol perspective, just being the new guy. It's going to help me to know what we've already done.
have
and
a,
what comes next.
I'll
and
find it. I have a
when
protocol.
to speak, Quite frankly.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And I'm certainly open to feedback, and so I'd like to collect it from all of you. So I look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a protocol that we're probably, we gave it out a while ago, but I'll see if I can find copies. It's really great. It kind of gives everybody's expectations and, you know, what to expect, even for the applicants and people in the audience. Probably would be good to probably print them up and have them.
Yeah, if you send it to me, I can get copies printed.
Great.
And honestly, the visual protocol helps the applicants as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of material I welcome, and welcome the feedback on making sure that
I'll get it to you out of my hand.
we're doing this appropriately.
And everybody has a copy of the zoning bylaws? Okay.
And
I know I gave some to the new members. I wanted to make sure the old members did, so that...
do you have 40A also?
Yes.
Okay. How about zoning maps? Do they give those out anymore?
They're online.
Yeah, I guess not.
They cost a lot of money to print. That is expensive.
Okay, do I have a motion to close the hearing? Or the meeting, excuse me?
Motion to close the meeting?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.